Hi, this is Mare Winningham, narrator of the audiobook We Are Not Ourselves by Matthew Thomas. The novel We Are Not Ourselves that I've been reading is a big, epic, beautiful audiobook that covers the life of Eileen Tumulty from the time she is a young girl in the 50s in Queens, New York, the daughter of Irish immigrants, until she's in her 50s, married and with a grown son, and everything in between. It looks at her life and lives of many people who had the American dream and found themselves in the mire of real life. It looks at her with love and unsparing humanity, and as she and her husband Ed and their son Connell face some very difficult times, and it's very powerful and very sad and very uplifting, all of it. There's a scene that I think about ever since I read it, when Eileen she doesn't like what's happening to her neighborhood, but it's also mixed up with her upward mobility yearnings. And so she can be very judgmental, and she doesn't want to think she is. She's always qualifying her racism as not being racism, but she's walking down her neighborhood street, and there's a group of Spanish-speaking kids coming toward her, and they're taking up the whole sidewalk. And it's bothering her. And one of them, because they aren't being conscious of other people on the sidewalk, one of them bumps her, and she gives him a piece of her mind. And it goes on way too long, and she knows it. She says what she needs to say. She gets an apology, and she just can't let it go. She keeps reprimanding them. And one of the boys, she's assuming she's going to be accosted. She's waiting for that. She won't stop herself from engaging them and poking them. And finally, one of them makes a move toward her, and she thinks, okay, here it comes. And the buddy of the guy who moved toward her pushes him aside and says in a very articulate way, "There's room for everyone in the neighborhood, and I'm sorry." And he's well-spoken. And that surprises her. In her prejudice, she just assumes that these are brats who weren't raised right and they're ruining the neighborhood, and she's shocked to get such a thoughtful response, considered response. But when she goes home, she tells the story to her husband and I think son. And she gives the ending that she thought in her mind was going to happen, that they curse and that they're foul-mouthed and punks. And in that little vignette, you get so much of the author's ability to give us this character that we're with her from page 1 to the very end, and we know her so deeply, and he doesn't spare anything. We are humiliated with her, we get angry at her, and we have deep, deep empathy for her because he takes us all the way inside her and lets us know the good and the bad, as we all have in us.